We're also talking about divorce. It's known as Divorce Day because people, after the Christmas period, sometimes it's just got too much and you think, right, now is the time to start a new life and divorce my other half. Let's talk now to Susie Miller, who's from Forest Row in East Sussex. She's a divorce strategist and creator of the website Best Way to Divorce. She's run several divorce fairs called Starting Over shows around the UK and abroad. And let's see what inspired Susie to start this. Susie, lovely to have you on the programme. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Now, tell us where it all started for you, where you become a divorce strategist.
Well, it all started when I put on the UK's first ever divorce fair. And I'd started to meet people I was a single mum, 3 kids, trying to have a healthy co-parenting relationship. And I discovered that there are mediators and financial experts and collaborative lawyers and all kinds of people that I'm an educated person. I'd never even knew those resources were there. So I brought it all together in these big events, which then moved online later on. And I realised that there's 2 things really. One is that a lot of professionals don't really know exactly what everybody else does, but also that there are so many ways to stay out of court. And that I did a TEDx on that in 2019, and I'm kind of obsessed really with making sure people get that information early, that there are many ways to stay out of court that people just don't know, because they're not really, it's not just that they're not being told, but they don't know how to make those things work. So mediation is one of them, but mediation doesn't work if you just rock up. I think it's a magic wand. There's things you need to do to prepare. So that it came out very much about a sense of, when you realise something, you just think, well, people need to know this because it's life-changing for the families. But I do also like today, I had a couple of people I spoke to before I came on here, and in both of those cases, their divorces are not from things like the toilet seat. There's a man and a woman, and for both of them, the real trigger for their divorces is domestic abuse, which unfortunately I've been seeing a lot of. And those people will often be told, oh, you can't do peaceful mediated divorce. And of course, actually, that's absolute rubbish. So a lot of my time is spent giving people the true facts of the case and then how to make it work for them in what is quite a toxic family law system.
So what are the things then? We were just talked to a solicitor talking about the fact of division of assets and all the rest of it. Can you really? These are things that cause big arguments in a divorce, isn't it? It's a difficult time, and people already don't particularly know, sometimes like each other, and then you've got all this on top of everything else.
Exactly. So a lot of people get confused about the fact that you end the marriage certificate, you get the legal divorce, but often they haven't finished the job. So as Paul was saying, you need to deal with the finances, and that's almost like a separate railway track and separate process in many ways. And that's where things can get very, very messy, especially when you're dealing with coercive controlling behaviour, abuse, which just adds another layer of hell onto the whole thing. And so what I help people understand is that if you're going to use mediation, which you can, there's 2 good reasons to do it. One is providing you prepare properly. So you go in having worked with a financial expert, because it's mainly about finances, a financial planner. You look at what is the best way to split this. Maybe give them a couple of choices, because you don't want the other person to feel railroaded. You want them to feel engaged in the process. But they're a tricky person. Maybe you're traumatized and you can't even look at their face on a screen. That's fine. You can be in a breakout room. You do it online. You have a very specialized mediator who's used to working in high conflict situations, and she shuttles between the 2. Because at the end of the day, you have to cut a deal. And what you have to decide is, do we, however difficult it is because of the nature of our relationship, do we decide what's going to be basically the future, our financial future for the rest of our lives, or do we hand it over to some judge who's never met us, especially if we've got kids, they don't know our family, spend years and thousands of pounds, and easily you can spend 50 grand if you start fighting in court. And why do all of that when you could actually quite quickly go on online and get it sorted? And if for some reason you just can't decide in the mediation, then you have arbitration. Arbitration is like a private judge. People assume, oh, that must be so expensive. Well, not really, because again, that can be done online. It can be done in times that are convenient. The couple need to choose an arbitrator, so they're still in control of the process. They choose someone who's a real specialist in that area, which might be finances, might be children, could be both. And they will look at all the information, which if you've done your homework, which people have if they come through Best Way to Divorce, they will go in there and they will make that a legally binding decision. So again, another way where you don't have to go through the hell of court. And what people also need to be aware of, that if you present these options clearly up front to your soon-to-be ex, and they go, no, I want to go to court, because they want to use the courts to bully you, the courts are fed up with this. So if you can demonstrate that you really have done everything to stay out of court, you can say, I want costs. I want them to pay for my legal fees because we shouldn't even be here. And that is starting to happen now. So there's so many reasons to do things more peacefully, but it's certainly not fluffy. It's about
where do people find you to get more of this kind of help and advice?
Bestwaytodivorce.com, and also just to say, I'm also ambassador for the Amicable Divorce Network in the UK, which launched recently, and that whereas even the lawyers on there are committed to keeping you out of court, because that's the rule. In order, you can't be part of the network unless you want to keep people out of court.
Well, thank you so much. Really good to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the programme. Do you have any divorce stories or advice to tell? Maybe you...